सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.
You're listening to Bare Knuckle Bhakti Shorties on the Bhakti Recovery Podcast with Jiva G, coming at you every Monday with a little spiritual something. Hey, good morning. Hare Krishna, Haribol. How is everybody? I'm trying a new recorder here, so let's see how the quality is. Let's see how it matches up. I have a new phone, and the recorder that comes with the phone is not the best. It doesn't allow me to pause. So I had to install this app. Anyway, not interested, right? You're not interested in my long technical stories. Anyway, as you can hear, I'm still a little bit sick. I've been quite sick, actually, the last couple of weeks. But I am healing and outside on this wonderful, beautiful day in the woods with the birds chirping. You know, I wanted to talk about empathy and compassion. Even when people, and if we don't even want to talk, don't even want to call it empathy or compassion, but just having a full understanding of the situation that we're in at any moment. And this is something that we can acquire when we do the work. And I think we all know what I'm talking about when we say the work. Let me start by saying that if you're a recovering addict or a recovering alcoholic, especially with those two addictions, you know, there's a special set of things that we do in order to stay abstinent, that we can hold our abstinence from those substances and start to be able to understand God's will for us at some point and let go of our own will. But generally it stops there. And there's a whole nother layer of work. And that's where things like the ACA program comes in, where we get a deeper understanding, or the CODA work, if we are codependent, which, excuse me, I think I will say this, but just in my opinion, most every alcoholic or addict, there is a big codependent inside of them. Whether that's turned inside out or not, it's just the way it is. So the work is the stuff underneath the addiction. And I'm not talking about therapeutic. It could be just as well addressed through a 12-step process. So while the 12 steps are always the same solution, there are no nuances and things that we have to understand about them before we can understand ourselves and others. So of course, like I said, because I've done a lot of this work, I'm better able to understand myself and then in turn understand others and have a way better understanding of a situation and not take it as personally. You know, when we enter a relationship, if we enter a relationship with someone that we see as our peer, whether it's a love relationship or a friend relationship, we'll soon realize at some point that person, through maybe an argument or a falling out or a disagreement, and if this situation keeps coming up, instead of being angry at someone, understand that other person, or if it is indeed you, that are acting emotionally, they're acting out of, ignorance. Some of us in some areas of our lives are emotional toddlers. How many of us can say that we are emotionally and spiritually mature so much that we can understand a situation that we never get angry at anyone because we understand their position? And we understand that often in situations that we're in, we're getting projected upon with their fears. And our defects of character are being brought up instead of their fear of our character defects. Now, in any given situation like that, it's a lesson for both people. But to learn that lesson in a quiet way, to say, okay, this person is projecting their fears, to have that understanding. Their person is projecting their fears, their things upon me. However, some of that is truth. And being able to own that and not be angry at that person. Saying, okay, they're not able to handle this situation in a mature way. They're not able to handle that situation in a way where, they can handle it without their own fears in there. Kindly bringing up in the I language that maybe what you're doing is affecting me in this way. And often what happens is if we are emotionally immature in one areas of our lives, whether that's love relationships or friendship relationships, we're going to get very angry and blame the other person. Whether they are in the wrong or the right, doesn't matter. But we're going to blame them because of what it does to us. And that's why when we don't do the work, we're going to be constantly, sorry, that was a helicopter. We're going to constantly be in the victim role. They did this to me. We're not going to be able to change people. The only people we can change is ourselves. The only way we can change is to have a better understanding of ourselves and a better understanding of other people. And that's where this empathy and compassion comes in. So let's just take like an extreme example. If you're dealing with a toddler, who comes in, makes a mess of everything, you invite the toddler in to paint. You invite them in to paint a picture with you. And the toddler opens the paint and smears it all over the table and makes a mess, is happy about the painting. All that toddler is doing is really happy that he's got this painting. He's got what he gets, or she's gotten what she's gotten out of the situation. Is picked up by their parent and whisked off, and you're sitting there with a mess, and you have to clean it up. Most probably you're not going to be angry at the toddler, right? You're going to say, what did the toddler doesn't have the capacity of understanding the full situation. The toddler came over to paint. He painted his picture. No matter what happened, it doesn't matter because he's not capable of understanding the full picture of what happens after the paint is all over the table and all that. It's not on his radar. And you can really use this situation, this image in your own life about interacting with people. Sometimes you're that toddler. But also sometimes if you're interacting with other people and they've left a mess, they've left an emotional mess with you. They've taken what they can out of that situation. But that's all they're capable of. And when that understanding is there, it's sometimes such a relief to know, okay, what did I do wrong in this situation? Well, let's take that situation with the toddler again and let's see. Well, I invited the toddler in with kind intentions so that we can paint. The toddler painted, made a huge mess and left. What could I have done differently? Well, there's a lot of options here. You could have said, oh, that's a beautiful painting. Let's get together now and try and clean up. And understand that he has only a limited amount of understanding of how to clean. So you teach that toddler to clean up their mess, and you do it with them. Or you get angry at the toddler, and how can you have such a mess, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes home, you're angry, he's angry. Or you close the door and never let that toddler in again. So we have options. We have those options. And we can do that on personal interactions with others. We can teach people how to handle situations with us if they're teachable. We can kick them out, close the door, never let them in again. We could just let them make the mess and leave over and over again and keep inviting them back. That's called codependency. So these are the situations. These are the choices that we have in situations, and we do have choices in those situations. And yes, sometimes people are totally in the wrong. But if we understand that they are not in any position, and I'm not saying this to demean them as a derogatory or to put them down, it's just as the adult saying, obviously this person, and maybe in that area of their lives, are at a toddler level of emotional understanding, and to have some sort of compassion and empathy for them and not get angry and not take it personally. And then choose what you're going to do next. Am I going to let them back in? Or am I going to teach them how to handle it properly with me? Or am I going to keep letting them make a mess? But we can only understand those things if we've done the work ourselves, with ourselves, on ourselves. Because I'm not standing here in a position to be like, oh, everyone else does this and I'm the emotional, mature one. I'm not. I am in some ways because I've done the work. But in other ways, I'm also still a toddler, and I've got to understand that. Love and compassion, for me, is really a question of how much I understand a situation and how much I'm willing to understand the true position of each person in any given situation. That's helped me tremendously. And the most important thing is, how did I do that? I worked my own program. I worked the ACA program and all the steps. I've worked a CODA program and all its steps. I mean, it sounds like, yeah, a lot, but it is. But I have 28 years of sobriety. So it gave me a lot of time to do those layers and to be able to look at myself. Give myself a break and give others a break. This has been a very long journey. The ACA program, the adult child of a dysfunctional family, and the codependence anonymous process. Both of those processes have helped me understand why I'm an addict. Have helped me understand the true nature of my disease. Being into Bhakti understands my true nature of being a spirit soul and my true position here in Maya. And it all fits very wonderfully. I don't think I ever want to... the thing is, I'm speaking now in clarity. This is a very clear picture, clear image in my head. In fact, it's because I'm in the age of Kali. And I do live here in a material body. I'll forget this again. This is a moment of clarity. And it's a process. It's like, this is the thing. I say these things. And maybe someone's hearing it. Like, I've heard things from other people. That's it. That's it. That's exactly what I have to do. Then the dopamine comes up and we're like, it's solved. I've got the answer. Well, yes, that is true in the moment. Sometimes we forget because we have our own emotion. We have our own emotional immaturities or our own emotional hang-ups or conditioning or samskars or whatever it is. So if we continue in that process, chances are that those situations become less and less. And if we stay in Krishna consciousness, we're going to understand actually in the end it doesn't really matter that much. That all of this petty material stuff doesn't matter because God is huge. Because Krishna is excuse me. We work on these things in light to please Krishna, to get closer to Krishna. When we remove these things, we become closer. That's just been my experience. I don't know if I have anything more to say. Understanding equals compassion, equals empathy, equals love, equals Krishna. How? I do it through a 12-step process, going to meetings, working the steps, working with others. And that's a huge one. When I work with others, I get to have a situation where I'm not emotionally involved, and I get to understand the complexities of any given situation. And I am able to pick it apart to help that other individual. And in the end, I get more of an understanding of situations. And then it just helps me in my life. It's a win-win. All right, people. That's my shorty. Again, another Monday. Have a great week, you guys. And I also wanted to remind you, please contribute what you can. I'm trying to get to England. Oh yeah, here's an announcement. I'm trying to get to the UK so that I can speak about this Bhakti recovery to devotee communities all over, not all over, but in the South. And every little contribution will help. I need some help, guys. I really do. I need some support so that I can do this service. This is a we thing. Anyone who enjoys this, who gets anything out of this, please go right to the website and donate what you can. Just give a donation, I don't know, for the same as you do for a cup of coffee. If you have a donation for a car, then please do that too. But just give anything you can. It's a really easy donate button on the Bhakti Recovery Group website, www.bhaktirecoverygroup.com. It's super, super easy. It's a Wise account. We're trying to figure out the PayPal thing, but we got the Wise account there. So please, do what you can. Pray for me. Pray for my endeavors so that I can take any little bit of Krishna's mercy on me and give it to others. And I need your help to do that. So I hope you guys have a great week. Love you all. Haribol. Thanks for listening. I hope you liked the Monday Shorties. Don't forget to check out our full-length episodes on Thursdays. If you like what you heard, spread the word. Peace out.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज.
The miseries of material existence and the most hopeless conditions of life is the best possible opportunity to turn to God.